So, you've got a brilliant business idea. You've spent hours, maybe even weeks, crafting that perfect customer persona. You know this person inside and out. But now what? Today, we're going to talk about the absolutely crucial next step, moving beyond that one single persona to find out if your business idea can actually survive in the real world.
Look, you've put in the work. You know their hopes, their dreams, their biggest headaches. But here's the million-dollar question, isn't it? Does that person actually exist? And, maybe more importantly, are there enough of them to build a real business around?
Because if you rely only on that one perfect persona, you can fall into this trap called hyperfocus. It's where you get so specific, so dialed in, that you accidentally design a product for a market of, well, one. And a market of one is a hobby, my friends, not a business.
And that right there brings us to the core issue we're tackling today, what I call the perfect persona problem. It's this huge risk that a single, unverified idea of a customer can send your entire startup down the wrong path before you've even had a chance to get started.
Now, the solution we're about to walk through, it isn't just a good idea, it's a proven method. This whole process is actually step 9 in Bill Ollitt's famous disciplined entrepreneurship framework from MIT. So we're standing on the shoulders of giants here, using a structured approach to get real, honest answers.
Okay, so if a single persona is just too risky, what's the answer? Well, we have to go beyond one. It's time to expand our search. It's time to find our next 10 customers. This is where all that theory gets very, very real.
And that's the magic number, 10. Your goal is super clear, and it's actionable. Find at least 10 potential customers. These have to be real people, real companies that fit your end user profile. But, and this is key, they are not the original person you based your persona on.
So why 10? It's about so much more than just hitting a number. Finding 10 customers lets you test all your previous assumptions. It lets you get that raw, direct feedback. You get to validate and maybe even totally improve your persona. You start to see other shared traits you never even thought of, and you just keep spiraling closer and closer to the best solution for a real market.
All right, enough theory. Let's get practical. How do you actually go out and find these 10 people, and what in the world do you do when you find them? Let's break down the step-by-step game plan. Here's the 5-step process. Super simple. First, you're going to list way more than 10 potential candidates. Then you contact them, and remember, you're not selling, you're just inquiring. Next, you gauge their actual commitment. After that, you analyze all the feedback for patterns. And finally, you update and refine everything based on what you just learned.
Okay, so you have your list. Now it's time to reach out. When you finally get them on the phone or in a meeting, you're going to clearly present just 3 things: the use case for your product, your quantifiable value proposition, like how you save them time or money, and the high-level specs of your product. You're basically laying your cards on the table to see how they react.
And this might be the most important piece of advice in this entire explainer. Your mindset here is absolutely everything. You are not there to sell. You have to be in inquiry mode. Think of yourself as a detective or a researcher. Your only goal is to listen and to learn, period. Now, if the conversations are going well and they seem to be validating your ideas, you can gently test their commitment. This is how you figure out who's just being polite versus who really intends to buy. You could ask for a simple, non-binding letter of intent, or even just pose the question, hey, if we actually built this, would you buy it? That tells you if you're really on the right track.
As all this feedback starts rolling in, you've got to know how to interpret it. And the golden rule is this: do not overreact to a single comment. One person might hate an idea, whatever. But if 5 or 6 or 7 people all bring up the exact same concern, that's not an outlier, that's a pattern. And that pattern is pure gold.
So let's wrap up this process. You're going to take all this amazing new feedback and update your documents. Now, if you truly can't find 10 interested people, that is a major red flag. It probably means you need to go back and rethink your target market, what Bill Ollitt calls your beachhead market. Oh, and one last tip, this customer list is valuable intelligence. Keep it confidential.
So when you zoom out and you look at everything you've just done with this process, you've done something incredibly powerful. You've started the journey of turning all those guesses and all that feedback into cold, hard facts.
You know, it's so tempting to be afraid of negative feedback, but I want you to reframe it. Negative feedback is a gift. It's a map that shows you exactly where the landmines are so you can avoid them. How you respond to that information, well, that's what separates the successful ventures from the ones that fail.
And this is the ultimate takeaway here. You've got to remember, hope is not a business strategy. Moving forward with a plan that's just based on hoping you're right instead of knowing you're right, well, that's just a recipe for failure. This entire 10-customer process is designed to replace that dangerous hope with hard evidence.
After you've done this work, and I mean really done it properly, you've talked to real people, you've listened to them, you've refined your plan, you earn something absolutely priceless: confidence. And I'm not talking about blind optimism. I'm talking about real, earned confidence that you are on the right track, building on a strong foundation for your venture's success.
The process is straightforward, but it requires discipline, and it is one of the most valuable things you can possibly do for your business. Your next 10 customers are out there right now, waiting. The only question is, what will they tell you?